Okay, hello everyone. It is Stacy here with Sacred Journeys Yoga, and I'm continuing the chain of gratitude with a friend, Kurt Widder. I think that's how you say your last name, right? Widder?
Joven, yeah.
Yeah. And oh yes, that's on your Zoom that I've got here.
It's only partial on here though, because there's the SHOVEN on the end, but such a mouthful. I only have it part here.
Yeah. Well, thank you for making it shorter for me.
Absolutely.
So we met, I don't know, probably a couple years ago, had a conversation at an acro yoga festival, and I got to learn a little bit about you. And, the first thing that inspired me was you're living a traveler's dream. So I have to say that was like the superficial side of like, oh my goodness, you're living the life that I've always wanted. And of course that sparked my interest. And then as I got to know you, as I got to know Kurt, I was like, holy, this guy is on. He's got it figured out and really living an authentic life. And from what I've seen as I followed you, your compassion for others, you give back to the community in your local community, but also every place that you've traveled. I know that you have done a lot for, you're in the Philippines, is that correct?
Most recently, yeah.
Yeah. And, I saw that you gave back to the community when you could there. And then we met up in Sydney, Australia, not too long ago. And one of the things that I really was like, okay, this is a guy that I would like to keep in my life, was when but we're barbecuing and you had that moment where there was kind of a bully, a situation of bullying was happening, and you stepped in with that calm, grounded demeanor, and you just asked some questions. You diffuse the situation, but also with acknowledgement of what happened. You didn't just kind of, brush it off or feed it into the violence of something that could have happened. You just handled the situation so well, and I was like blown away. Like that took a lot of courage to stand up to somebody and kind of speak your truth, especially when a scene like that could have been escalated. And yeah, I was just like, here's a person who doesn't just speak uplifting things, but also shows it in action. So I'm just really grateful for our interaction, even if it's been brief in moments. And I'm really grateful for what you bring to the world, your compassion, your uplifting spirit, and how you're always trying to help others. So that's why you're on this chain of gratitude. I appreciate your existence in my own life and everyone else's. And so with that, with your own words, let everybody know who you are, what your passions are, and a little bit about yourself.
Wow, you're really good at edifying, Stace, and I completely forgot about that barbecue situation, and it came very present to me right when you said that. It was a bit of a racial situation, and it just didn't stand well with me. And yeah, it was calm. It wouldn't have been that way many years ago, but it was, and it went very well. And he actually come up to me a couple of minutes later after he walked away, come back, and he shook my hand and thanked me for interacting between that, and realized that what he was doing was really not just. So that's kind of cool. I forgot, and you made me tingle all those nice things you said about me. So thank you very much for the kind words. Yeah, I guess I do live a traveler's life. I'm from Calgary. That's where I currently just landed 5 days ago. I'm in quarantine now for the 2 weeks here to avoid the $1 million fine or whatever that looks like. And yeah, I do spend a significant amount of time overseas where I feel restriction in the winter time to my lifestyle. And when I originally went to Australia in 2011, it was like, wow, warm all year round. That was really appealing to me as well. So yeah, I like to experience different cultures, different people. I had quite an upbringing. It wasn't terrible or anything, and I'm not going to look for sympathy or pity, but I didn't have a lot, but I had enough, and I had a roof over my head, clothes on my back, and I had a family that cared for me. But I come into life on a lot of unworthiness and a lack of value for myself, and I would bend over backwards for human beings, no matter what. I'd cut my arm off to better somebody else, but I was dying and rotting on the inside for many, many years. And what you shared there about just standing for people and myself and being self-expressed, I mean, that's come over a significant amount of work, but responsibility and acceptance as well. And I have such a burning passion to see humans live a fulfilled life. And I'm tingling everywhere, hair on my head, my ears, everywhere standing up right now. To know that I've been through what I've been through and to be able to live the way I live right now, I believe everybody deserves to live a happy, fulfilled life. And I believe in quality nutrition and movement, you know, a lot of gratitude and just that presence of kindness as well. And it never used to be that way. And now it is. And it's given me the ability to live this life because I'm wholeheartedly me. It's not because I'm wearing a mask everywhere I go and I don't have the imposter syndrome that I had for, you know, over 30 years of my life. And now that I can fully express who I am and love myself, it's a big difference. I feel I can be more of an impact with people. And you know, like I said, very passionate, nutrition, fitness, movement, mindset, you know, mental fitness as well as physical. So I don't know where I kind of went there, but yeah, I have such a passion for people, and it just makes me light up each and every single day the beautiful human beings around the globe that I get to work with and just see them enhance their life in areas that are important to them, not that are important to me or their sister, brother, cousin, or coworkers, but what they really share that they want in life. And when that becomes present to me, then my goals become their goals, and it really works well together in that sense. So in a little nutshell, that's a little bit about Kurt, I guess.
Yeah. And, you know, I can see it. I can feel it. I can feel that passion that you have for other people. And I can feel the difference that you are coming from that authentic place without, you know, the different hats on and the different masks on. And that's the thing that, you know, you really are inspired. I'm still working on that. I still hide behind, you know, my own masks at times. But you're an inspiration. That's why I'm grateful. You are an inspiration to not hide behind those masks, because I see how powerful it is when you don't. And so my fear tells me to put the mask on, but you know, you are the inspiration that says you don't have to listen to that fear. And in fact, if you don't, you know, look at how much more you could be of service to others and be of service to this world, including yourself. So it's very powerful. So I thank you for that. And with that, I guess you've already kind of said, you know, like where you got started, but maybe what was a key thing that kind of got you on this journey that helped you kind of flip that switch a little?
The biggest thing I would say, where, you know, health and well-being has been a part of my life for 13, 14 years, you know, movement in the gym and intentional eating, you know, more lifestyle and sustainable balance. But it was more in the sense I was doing it for other people. You know, when I first started working out, I wanted the six pack, you know, I wanted to impress the ladies on the beach and whatever that looked like. And I realized it didn't take long, you know, like I got the six pack. And was I happy? Heck no, not at all. And then I realized that the power of nutrition and moved on to that. And I thought, you know, the end all be all, be fit and healthy and that side of things, and I'll just be happy. But I just started to create more awareness as time went on of mentally the way I started to speak to myself. And I was for many years, and it was just subconscious, you know, majority of the time. And I always had people tell me these beautiful things. And, you know, I'd be the person that people would come to if they had problems. And I very easily guide them into a direction that I thought was most fulfilling from them, from what they were sharing. I could hear them very well, but geez, there were so many voices inside my head. It was really hard to hear what was going. And I was following life, you know, by in between my ears, opposed to my heart. And the biggest transition that I can remember is when I recognized and realized that self-care and putting me as number one is the furthest thing from selfish that I could ever imagine. When I define that, and many still do, and that's totally fine. Everybody's got their own personal perspective, and it's just a personal life experience. That when I started to serve Kurt and I started to do more for me, the things that were actually important to me, not the public, not friends, family, influence, none of that kind of stuff, what's on TV or the radio, but what made me feel good, what felt the most like love in my life. And the world started to change. And it didn't change instantly, I'll tell you, it took years. But recognizing self-integrity is a very powerful thing in my life. Is we will mainly, or a lot of the time as human beings, do something for somebody else, do something kind, especially in a group, and yay, you know, you get that temporary satisfaction, the dopamine, the serotonin, you know, oxytocin, everything's like, whoa, you know, I'm center of attention, I did something nice. And I used to do that, and doing something for somebody else for validation or justification, in reality, I see it as almost taking from another person, and it's so unintentional. And I don't mean that in a negative way whatsoever, because it still feels good to do nice things. But when you do nice things for yourself, you don't feel it instantly. It takes time to ease into that, and to try to go to a buffet with a full stomach, it's not going to work. Life is defined in, certain perspective of a buffet. You get any choice you want if you get to make that choice. But if you take everything at once, it's going to be really hard to handle and eat the things that you actually enjoy from that. So when I started to incorporate more self-care into my life and make my movement a priority and my sleep a priority, and it took years to set a bedtime. I'm telling you, like 5 years, I wanted to go to bed at a certain time, and it kept taking it on the phone and whatever that looked like, and then a wake up time. So that self-integrity side of things made a massive shift when I started to serve me first. My cup was full instead of dust coming out of it when I dumped it out. Like, I could flick this shit on people, excuse my French, as I walked by them once I started to love myself more in that transition. And I just recognized I could be more impact when I was fulfilled and I was happy and I wasn't corroding internally on the inside. So as I said, it wasn't an overnight thing, but that's probably the biggest thing that I could say that shifted in my life. And it was brick by brick, step by step, drip by drip. It took, a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And moving into the mornings, morning routine for me has changed my entire world, my life, my business, my relationships, my self-love, like everything in my life has transformed from morning routine. But again, that morning routine took many, many years to find. And then you rebalance. And then I moved to a different country or a different location. And then it's reset, refocus. I'm experiencing that now, trying to find a new balance in my morning routine that is really serving me to my ultimate potential first thing in the morning. And then it's like, when I'm done with that, what's next, world? I can take on anything. But if I don't do me first, the day just doesn't feel the same. So self-integrity was a huge thing, and just serving me first shifted my life, my future, and I'll continue to serve me as a priority unless an unforeseen circumstance or emergency in a family or loved one's life. That's the only way I'll bend the other way outside of that.
Yeah, that's so powerful and interesting, that whole like selfish kind of phrase. So another one that I've heard of, like, self-centered, right? And I don't know if you've read the book or listened to the book, Conversations with God. A friend of mine put me onto that, and it's blown my mind. But he speaks about that, of like taking the word self-centered and being instead centered within self, as in you have that integrity. So self-centered could be that self-integrity, right? You have that center point, you know who you are, you know what serves you, and you stay aligned to that, which allows you, again, like you said, to give from that full cup. So that's what I got. It was just a spin on words, right? Of like, okay, self-centered. Now I can hear that in what you're saying, in that more self-integrity way of like, yeah, there's nothing wrong with being centered within self.
Absolutely.
So it's very powerful. So with that, talking about the chain of gratitude, and what are 1 to 3 either events or people that have made an impact in your life, that have maybe changed the trajectory or the speed of your journey, that you would like to offer a bit of gratitude and celebration towards in this moment?
Am I allowed to cry, Stace? Woo, heart get heavy there. Well, I mean, first off, it's my mom that comes to my mind. I lost my mom in 2006, and when I come with tears about my mother, it's tears of love and tears of joy and tears of gratitude. The fight that she fought against cancer and what she shared with me on her bed in palliative care, and the way she went through this acceptance of death, and the way she was with us, there was more power and value in what my mother shared with me, so unintentionally, where they tell you to do school when you're a kid and try to get you to learn in this, but she was just so with peace and just so generous in her love to share with people during that. And some things I'll never forget. It was, I was by her hospital bed, and she just said, I want you to follow your purpose. I want you to be you. You love yourself, follow your dreams, like, do it for me. And it was just amazing. She called me just before, 4 days prior to her passing, and she told me she was going to go. And I said, wait, I was in Alberta. She was in New Brunswick. And I said, well, can you wait for me? I was 22 years old. I really didn't have an idea. I can't lose my mom. I was blind to it. But I asked her, she said, yeah, I'll wait. So I walked into that hospital room. Nobody was there. She already lost her vision mainly. And when I walked in, I never said a word, but she smiled ear to ear and said, Kurtie, is that you? She felt me come in the room, and I got to spend 4 beautiful, beautiful days with her. And that'd be the first person that comes to my mind. And then I can say again to my other mom, my sister. My sister is my sister, my best friend, and my mother. She was my rock for so many years after my mom's death. She filled her shoes up 98% of the way. I mean, you know, it's just a little different touch of a mom and the unconditional thing, but my sister is such a powerful, beautiful woman and a beautiful mother and a best friend and someone I adore so much that she has no idea that I almost feel kind of indebted to her, you know, to an extent. I just love her so dearly. And, you know, we have our spats here and there, that kind of thing. But we have such a beautiful relationship where she knows I'll do anything for her. And I know if I ever need something and I ask, that she'd be a person that would always bend over backwards in the case and time of need for me. There's so many people. There's someone else I want to mention, but I got to bring my grandmother up. I recently lost her not that long ago. And she lived such an incredible life. She was the most peaceful, non-judgmental person that just expressed gratitude through her eyes, her mouth, her hair. From behind her back, you could see the light shimmering off her. And I know that's why she lived so peacefully and fulfilled. And we created so much more relatability as I aged and went on and shared philosophies and beliefs and life experience. And that woman taught me more than anyone combined on this earth, with never trying to teach me anything. She knew when I first started drinking, doing drugs, having sex, you know, she knew everything about me. I was so open with her because that space was there. She never judged me. She never told me I was wrong. She never told me to do something different. She would give a little guidance and advice and say, well, this is what I think. But, and to have the conversation with her before her passing as well. She wanted to go. We lost my grandfather a few months prior, and he was 93, you know, she was 87 and had a couple of mini strokes. And whew, that woman, what she taught me, and I got to express that with her. That's how open our relationship, you know, like how much she was just her authentic self purely from the day I came out of my mother. She was never a different human being. She never put a mask on, tried to be somebody different. She just was fully, wholeheartedly her. So those are 3 women. There's many other people, but those are the top 3 today that came to my head, that most of it is indirect intention to be of benefit, but just sharing and giving me so much just by love.
Wow. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, it sounds like you've had 3 very beautiful, powerful, and loving women in your life. Yeah, that gave me goosebumps. All of it, I was like,
tingled a bit too. I almost let my tears pour, but it kind of went away because right when I thought, oh, mom, and it's like I usually cry from joy from it. But no, thanks for bringing that up. That's really cool. I never actually had that question asked before.
Yeah, and it's, you know, this is from I'll be putting her interview out for my friend Shannon. She's this huge believer in gratitude, and she's done a lot of promoting with that. And so that's what I'm kind of taking on, the power of gratitude, you know, the power of just stopping and actually sitting there and going, okay, wait a second, you know, like, how did I get here? You know, what are the things, or who are the people that have really helped me? Because we can get distracted, right? We can take it for granted or forget. And yeah, I could feel like, thank you for sharing with your grandma. I could feel, and I'm kind of like asking the universe right now, like, oh, just sprinkle a little bit of what your grandma gave to you, you know, just yes, I welcome a shower of that, because I could feel how powerful, you know, that ability and that love that she gave to you, that non-judgmental space of, yeah, yep.
She's sprinkling on you right now. She just told me. Yeah. She said you're deserving to some of that. She's got lots to share.
So beautiful. Yeah, so thank you. No, it's gonna make me cry. I'm a watery creature. Okay, so moving on. What's I gotta center myself. What's next question I wanted to ask? Yes. Okay. So what what do you have going on? What do you have, any projects, any programs, anything that you'd like to share with whoever's listening, that you have to offer, and just let them know what you have?
Yeah, something else popped to my mind, interestingly enough. I want to share a little bit of that. I don't know where it would go because it's just a new creation. But yeah, I work with people with their health, you know, mental, emotional, and physical. But a lot of people struggle with stress and sleep, you know, weight issues, physical performance, you know, busyness to create lifestyle in that sense. So that's mainly the main jam. What I do, I work with people on their health on a daily basis. And I absolutely love that. So I mean, if anyone aligns with me or this conversation, I'm always open to a conversation. It's never with expectation at all. It's just an open space to see if there's suitability and alignment and relatability for a solution potential. So that's the bread and butter, my passion, my heart and soul goes into that. And if there's anybody on here that or that sees this, that is interested in potentially giving back to more people in need, I'm not with an organization. I do what I do from my heart and a couple of friends, you know, that help. There's a family of 11 children all born on the street. There's 14 of them sleeping in a home smaller than this small office right now. They're like sardines in a can. Beautiful children. I met them, Stace, 3 years ago, and I was in the lowest space in my life. I had a hole in my foot the size of a baseball, bones tendon exposed. My bank account was just smashed with a sledgehammer pretty aggressively. And my heart was broken all at the same time, physical, emotional, and financial disruption. And I'm so grateful for that time. That is the biggest turning point of my entire life, the lowest point I was ever in. But these children brought me to presence unintentionally, and again, gave me so much value in life to realize the little amount that they had, like literally, you know, sleeping on dirt, a tarp over their head, you know, not knowing what they're going to eat the next day, but they still smiled. They still appreciated family and community and love. And that's the only times, that point in my life, that I could take my mind off of the shitty situation that I was involved in. And looking back at that now, I'm grateful for it. But I want to start something a little bit further with these kids and some others. I've got a property in the Philippines I'm developing a wellness retreat on, and a fishing charter and a holiday home, a gorgeous, magical little island that I want to give back more to that community as well. So, you know, in a sense of charitable cause, that's something now that's just new to me. I just did some distribution and stuff there before I left the Philippines with COVID. It was a bit of a unique issue. Instead of the hugs and the throwing the kids around and flinging them up and down and putting 7 of them on my motorbike for a little drive and stuff. But I have that intention when I go back to fulfill that project in the future to give back more. So it doesn't have to be finances. It can be in the sense of clothes, something, you know, that we don't use, or that it may be giving to another organization that may be not of full benefit to them. I'm open to that kind of stuff, and I can ship it across in a box. That doesn't matter how much it weighs, for about $80 Canadian to get over the Philippines in that sense. So there's no bigger joy in my heart to see someone so appreciative for something so small, the sense of a cup of rice to a little bit of basic clothing and that side of things. So yeah, I didn't know I was going to talk about that, but that just came instantly present when you said that too. So yeah, beautiful. And I'll get that information, and you know, we'll just put some links or put some information if people want to reach out and just see what they can do to help out. So I'll put that in the link somewhere down cool.
Here somewhere.
Yeah, no, awesome. Yeah, just in any way to connect and can talk about what that looks like. My friend has a little page now that she does. She's from California, beautiful soul, love her to death. She sent off some stuff to them, and she wants to continue to do it with some of her friends as well. And the more people we can combine with this little bit from many people, or whatever that looks like, because something to us that is really worthless and meaningful, nothing, can be such value to these people in such a big way. When you have nothing, anything makes a difference.
Yeah. And you know, that's the part about traveling that I love so much. And it is that good, humble wake up call. You know, we're in Bali right now, and we are in this beautiful, huge villa amongst a lot of smaller villages. And when we go for walks, you can see, you know, what they're living with, and they don't have a lot, and yet they are the most happy, loving people, you know, you'll ever experience. And it's a way, it helps keep me humble. You know, it helps even on when I get stuck in my head and, you know, in my nonsense, and you go out for that walk and you see the people and you connect and communicate. It's just like, right, right? There's so much to be grateful for, you know, and again, coming back to that place of gratitude just whoop, takes you out of the dark space, and they live in a place of gratitude. A lot of other countries that seem to not have very much at all, they have one of the most powerful things, which is love and gratitude. So I'm always like, what can I learn from you? Like, I want to travel this world so I can learn from all of these beautiful people that, yeah, I'm just so grateful for. And
Beautiful.
to help give back, you know, is
I like to say that too, Stace. It's like I see the unfortunate as extremely fortunate, opposed to being unfortunate. You know, the less fortunate in a lot of ways are more fortunate. Naturally express gratitude. They don't even know what that word means or how to spell it. Authenticity, being truly self-expressed. They don't know what that means because that's just them. That's their state of being naturally from birth and continuing on in a lot of circumstances, which is amazing. And then you can see the outside influence of, you know, developed Western countries sometimes in the cities in these countries. And it's quite saddening. You know, economies growing and that kind of stuff. And I'm not going to get super deep into that, but yes, I do define the less fortunate, so fortunate in so many ways with some of the most powerful things, like you said, with gratitude, love, family, community, and
mm-hmm.
full ability to self-express themselves just exactly who they are.
Yeah. So to give back and, you know, to help connect and learn, like just connect and learn from each other and keep sharing that gratitude is powerful. So yeah, I appreciate what you're doing. And yeah, anyone who's listening, if you want to help out, if you want to give back, we'll put some information that you can connect with Kurt. So with that, now, is there anything else you'd like to share that's come up, or like that takeaway? What is that little takeaway or piece that you'd like people to hear?
Big question. First, I want to give my gratitude for you for this opportunity and you just as a human being, Stace. When we originally connected, no, there wasn't super in-depth conversation. I was inspired, Shaoli, by your talent as an acro yogi. It's like, who the heck is this girl? If I could do half of that, I'd be on top of the world, you know? And it was really inspiring to see, but I felt that energy come off you and the further conversation that we had, and then we met up in Australia and the Zoom calls that we had through COVID and stuff as well, that I'm super grateful that you're a part of my life. You who you are, you know, what you offer to people in the world just with simply being you is so powerful and so beautiful. And we just experienced previous to this such a relatable, amazing, you know, groundbreaking conversation about relationship and stuff too. So the more I get to know you, the more and more I recognize and realize, you know, how relatable we are and how much you have to offer. And that the sense what you shared a little bit before is that, Stace, you are so incredible and so powerful. And within inside of you, who you are and what you have to offer is just so much abundance and love. And yeah, I thank you for this time and these questions and this opportunity. And I would say, like, one of the biggest things that I used to struggle with that has changed my life so much is focusing on what we can control instead of focusing on what we can't. And when the media is exposed and the world is black and gray and dark and thunderstormy, and there's racism going on and there's corruption and there's greed and there's war and chaos and COVID and all this stuff, it's really easy to get caught up in that. And if we look at it in that perspective consistently, we will become our thoughts. The world, as you just shared and I just shared, has so much beauty, so much empathy, compassion, love, support, kindness, community, growth, ability, gratitude. All this stuff is there as well. So if we take a look to the right into the brighter light opposed to the left, it can really transform a lot. It's so simple to do, but yet it's not easy because we're exposed to this on social media and everywhere we go on a regular basis. Why I haven't watched the media in so many years, and especially during this adjustment phase in these circumstances, it's something that I share a lot, is like Charles Darwin says it in the sense, it's not the most intelligent or the strongest that will survive, it is those most adaptable to change. And as human beings, we must continually adapt as the environment and the world adapts. And if we focus on how we react, our emotions, what we can do to get where we want to be if we're not where we want to be, that's where huge transformation and transition in life, in internal happiness, fulfillment, success, love, kindness, all that kind of stuff truly really comes from, is what we mainly focus on a regular basis. So if we're going to focus on that and step towards it, we will fulfill on what's important to us. And it sure as heck isn't easy. But living a life focusing on all we don't have and the negativity going on in the world at this day and age is something that can drive us so far down a rabbit hole, it might be hard to really ever get out of it. So yeah, that's a little simple thing that simple but not easy.
Yeah, simple but not easy, for sure. And yeah, and I resonate with that. I don't know if you've heard of Abraham Hicks, but you know, she's always like hocus pocus focus. And that's kind of like the thing I say to myself, you know, when I feel my attention being drawn in a direction that I don't actually, you know, want to encourage more of or see more, as in more pain, more violence, more hate. Hocus pocus focus. Okay, well, what do I want to see? Just like you're saying. And man, that is powerful. But yeah, simple, but not always easy to not look at those as at those things that are in front of you at times. And thank you for sharing those. I wasn't quite expecting that. Thank you for sharing those beautiful words. And I myself am still working on receiving that, so I can feel that just receiving them. But thank you for sharing those beautiful words, and thank you for giving your time and sharing your wisdom. And I'm now, you know, kind of seeing you, but I also see these three beautiful women like right behind you, you know, so I'm like, I feel like I just got to interview like 4 really awesome people. So I'm just in real gratitude for that. So yeah, thank you for this time. And I'll put the links in, and, you know, hopefully whoever wants to share, they can get in touch with you. And I do recommend, you know, reaching out to Kurt. You are, you know, a wealth of knowledge, of wisdom and love and compassion. And, you know, I aspire to be a little more like you as well. And thank you for being that inspiration.
Thank you for the kind words, Stace. And I really have to acknowledge you for receiving and accepting the compliments I gave you, because for me, for many years, I wasn't able to. I would turn it off to someone else. He's better, she's better. I'm not this, I'm not that. And now to wholeheartedly receive what you shared with me, I respect and appreciate your kind words so much. And I loved how I saw you receive what I said. And it's all truth, because I felt that energy off of you when I first met you. And the more I got to know you, it's like more clarity of who you really are. And it's beautiful. It really, really is.
Well, thank you. And
yeah.
Thank you for
yes, thank you. Gratitude.
Yes, and thank you for your mom and your sister and your grandma for sharing that and passing that on. So yeah, I think they are very proud of who you become. I'm gonna cry if I say more stuff. It's wonderful. So thank you so much. Thank you to everyone watching and listening, and let's keep this chain going. So, you know, I encourage you to reach out to whoever inspires you, maybe start a video or just a conversation. Anybody who's listening, you know, share this chain of gratitude. Let's pass it on, and let's make this world a nicer place, happier place.
Awesome.
Thanks.